it's another side that like wants to take more, that wants to go that one more round, because like going that one more round when you don't think you can, that's what makes all the difference in your life. You know what I mean?
Hello, good day, and welcome to another episode of One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and returning this week, we have the lovely Kyle. Welcome back. We missed you.
I missed you guys. I was walking downstairs to get my computer set up. I'm like, geez, I feel like I haven't podcasted forever. And I actually had forgotten that I missed the last one. I'm like, it doesn't feel like 2 weeks. And that's because it wasn't. It was for a long time.
I always say how fast things go when we do our show bi-weekly, more or less, and I'm always amazed in a good way. Oh, we're here again, but then how fast 2 weeks actually goes. So it's scary. We want to thank Jared again for filling in for Kyle last week. Jared did a great job. He's got the great podcasting voice and great insights. Unfortunately, Katie's going to be gone for the next 2 episodes. So our viewership and our downloads will decrease quite a bit. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything because now people aren't even going to bother to download the next
Is
episodes.
it really going to be? God, it's going to be a long time since
I
yeah.
You know, we should maybe look into now with AI, getting like an AI Katie to just have some pre-programmed lines so we can have her say.
I see my value.
We prefer real Katie, but if you're going to ditch us, we got to have something to fill the gap. There isn't another Katie out there. You can replace a Kyle. You can't replace a Katie.
That's true. She's got gaps. We got gaps. AI will fill those gaps.
Yeah, it will fill those gaps.
Okay, so yeah, I have a couple of people that I might reach out to for the next couple episodes, so stand by for those invitations. One of them is actually one of our very frequent commenters, that's Andy. I am going to reach out to him and his partner, Evan. They run the Van Damme podcast on our network, and I'm going to see if they would be willing to fill in for one or both shows. One, because Andy comments so much anyways, he might as well just come on the show and tell us his thoughts live, and he's really great at what he does, and Evan will just rein Andy in. That seems to be Evan's job, so we'll see if they would be willing to come on. We'll make that happen. But speaking of that, Andy did leave us some comments on our last episode there.
It's true. He says, in reference to the deleted scene of Rocky checking on Robert with his friends there, and the basement scene in the work print is the best example of how great the movie could have been. Cutting Rocky's walk down the stairs creates one of the biggest continuity errors ever.
I'm confused about what the continuity part he's talking about. Because remember, the scene was just him going down to talk to Robert after Robert's. He thinks he knows me. It was that scene. Then he goes down to talk to Robert in the basement with his friends, when they're listening to rock and roll music. I'm just trying to figure out the continuity part.
Because they still included the scene where they still have like a disagreement or an argument.
Yeah, I guess the idea we don't see Rocky get to the basement. I don't know. Again, maybe if Andy's on the next episode, he can clarify, or in the comments, what he meant by continuity. Other than that, I agree. Again, the workers' print shows us that a better film was there with some of those scenes. I think at the end of the day, that we could agree on that. I just don't know about the continuity talk. Okay.
Also, more stairs.
Katie with the stairs.
He then, in reference to the product placement that Tommy Gunn wore, this is wild. I can't believe I never noticed it.
So, Kyle, Andy said that Tommy had a real business product placement on his outfit at some point in the film. Myself, Jared, and Katie could not, for the life of us, figure out what it was on our last episode. And we came to the conclusion that it might have been his pony shoes. Have you ever heard of pony shoes?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we had never heard of pony shoes. Jared had heard of pony shoes, and those were actually the brand shoes that Tommy wore in the film. They're legit brand and boxer shoes, apparently. But we were wrong. Andy gives us the correct answer, and I'll give you a hint, Kyle. It was on his cap, his baseball cap. After
Little Caesars. Yeah,
Wow.
Little Caesars. That's right. I always found that odd that he was wearing a Little Caesars hat.
I've never noticed it before.
Good
God.
job.
Very good. It is. Yep.
Yeah, we
Okay.
couldn't figure it out. We went the whole episode. So Andy came back and he told us it was Little Caesars. That's the answer there. If you had told me that clue, Kyle, last week or last recording, it's on his baseball cap, I probably would have said Nike,
Okay, yeah.
Adidas.
I had to zoom in on the photo. Like, I feel like I've never seen this movie, or maybe only seen it once, like on a resolution clear enough to actually see what was on his hat.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, at some point watching that film, that stuck out to me. And I was always like, why did they pick Little Caesars? Like, why is that in there? And I think it was because like I didn't understand the idea of product placements yet. I didn't understand the heavy Nike product placement in Rocky 3, the Adidas product placement in Rocky 4. Little Caesars is odd though because Nike and Adidas are like at least athletic type brands.
Yeah, Little Caesars
Where-
does stand out.
Little Caesars is just really shitty quality pizza. So
That somebody,
Wasn't that-
the boxers would never eat. They would never eat junk food.
maybe
probably.
after the fight, that's their celebratory. That's the
Yeah, I guess.
celebratory meal of the fight. Yeah. Okay.
He says, in reference to Duke's long game, geographical locations, and more timeline issues. Did Duke set up residence and offices in Philly just for this scheme? I'm guessing the Kane fight. Oh, so for some reason, when he says Duke to me is Tony Burton.
Oh, sure. No,
Oh,
George Washington.
yeah.
Of course.
Yes. Okay. Reframe it for Katie's brain. This is
No worries.
George Washington Duke. Did Duke set up residence and offices in Philly just for this scheme? I'm guessing the Kane fight was at the Spectrum. He shows up at Andy's very quickly after the press conference. A scene showing Rocky and his family reunited would have helped here, along with a small time jump for Tommy to confront Rocky. It's all too convenient.
I love how all the major fights take place at the Spectrum. Like, why is I guess Tommy did train out of Philly, so the idea might have been like, this is Tommy's stomping grounds, just like it was Rocky's stomping grounds. He's Rocky's puppet, so of course he has to have his major fight there.
Philly, you do have fights there. It's not like you wouldn't, but it is awfully convenient that you have all these major fights in Philly. This time, you actually have a lot of fights in Atlantic City, which is just down the road from Philly. I don't know exactly how long Atlantic City is away. I think maybe it's like an hour or something. That makes more sense. You have a fight there or in New York.
I think Philly for this fight is because Rocky is the draw. Rocky managing Tommy is the big draw for people.
That's what tickets were already sold. Tickets were already sold.
You could make that argument for the Rocky universe that Rocky in this world, Philadelphia, probably pre-1975, is not a major fight destination, but it became one because all these big fights took place in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Even though in Rocky 3, the Madison Square Garden was the first fight against Clubber, in Rocky fighting at like Caesar's Palace and places like that. But you could, I think it's like a legitimate good point that you can say that Rocky has made Philly a boxing destination in this universe.
Not only that, just that this is a title fight for Rocky's robot. This is Rocky's protege. Therefore, it only makes sense to have it in Philly, Rocky's hometown. Now, as to whether Duke set up residence or offices in Philly,
I think the idea being that everything is Philly centric. So now George Washington Duke just happens to work out of there the same way that Apollo did for the first Rocky film. And then on top of that, the fight happens. They have that press conference. And they're already at Andy's bar with all in the same day.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's just so close and so easy. And yeah,
that's honestly one of the reasons why Philadelphians love this movie so much. Because Philadelphia is an often ignored city. It's a big major city, but it's sandwiched between New York and DC, which are both way more important and well known. So Philly's forgotten about a lot of the time. The idea of having this movie where everything happens in Philly and all the fights are in Philly, that's got to feel good if you're a Philadelphia viewer of this film.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah.
I would argue that Duke could easily be flying back and forth for all of these major events.
Like from New York or somewhere like that?
Wherever he lives. Even if he lives in LA, he could easily just be flying once a week.
Yeah, like New
Philly for
York is
stuff.
90 miles away from Philly, roughly. I know by train it took an hour and a half to get to Philly.
Can you imagine Duke and Tommy on the train?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. You could argue if the fight was in Atlantic City, you can get to Duke's within an hour. But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that fight was Atlantic City. There's no evidence for that whatsoever. From what they show you, everything was in Philly.
We're all led to believe it's Philly. It's all Philly
Yeah.
centric. Yeah. Okay. Next comment there from me?
Yeah, I was just making sure we addressed everything that he brought up. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, this is the best comment ever. He says, in unity for Katie's love of Over the Top. Katie, not a year goes by where I don't watch Over the Top on heavy rotation. It's horribly underrated. Get past the premise and it's very entertaining.
What's Over the Top?
Oh my God, Kyle.
Shit.
Kyle, are you joking?
The arm wrestling movie? The arm wrestling
No, I've never
movie?
watched it. I've never heard of it.
Yes, you have. Kyle, this is an impossibility.
He's a little bit younger than us. Don't forget, he is a little bit younger than us. It came out when I was 10. So
also,
I think
it came out when I was like 1 year, because you're born in 75.
It was like 87.
I was 1 when it came out. Yeah.
No, it was 87. So
Yeah,
you were
87.
You were
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah, I don't know
either
why
way.
I never found that at Blockbuster or something.
Yeah.
Because
Or
a lot
it
of
could be
like,
on-
we were talking about The Breakfast Club on the other podcast, right? And that movie came out the year I was born, and I still had seen that. So I don't know how that one slipped through, because I would have loved to see an arm wrestling movie as a kid.
It was on heavy rotation on TBS or TNT or one of those channels a lot. I watched it on TV a lot, but it's Sylvester Stallone. It gets made fun of a lot because it's a Canon movie, like the production company Canon, that's notoriously bad. And it's not a good movie, but it is so good. It's one of those.
I have tomorrow off, so maybe tonight I will watch Over the Top.
Report back, because
I would love to hear.
Ryan lost respect for me because I truly ironically
respect for you.
Hey, Kate,
not ironically love it.
I'm sure he didn't lose respect for you. Probably just never had respect for you.
Yeah, it's true.
That's right. Thank you, Andy. I love it.
Yeah, there's more coming. Just brace yourself. The thing is, I probably am in the unsilent minority, or whatever that is, the unsilent majority, whatever Paulie says. This is very confusing.
Yeah, yes, we're the unsilent majority.
Yeah. Objectively, you're right. It's not a good film, but that's the problem with that film. And I don't want to over talk about this film, but I love bad films. I'm not a snob. I can have fun with a bad film. For some reason, that film just rubs me the wrong way. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the arm wrestling sport. I don't enjoy the real arm that breaks. And I don't enjoy the kid and his acting. I don't understand their relationship. And I don't get excited by arm wrestling. And that's a huge part. So it is the Rocky of arm wrestling.
That's the problem.
The kid is annoying. The sport is annoying. And then we see a real arm break in the film. And I just don't like that.
Like arm breaks in real life, like by accident in the film or something?
Yes.
Oh,
There's footage from a real like arm wrestling competition in the movie. Yeah. But you
hear a snap and someone's like,
if you aren't looking for it, you won't notice it.
Oh, I wasn't looking for it. I noticed it when I did a rewatch right away. They do film real arm wrestling events, and there was an arm break that they kept for the film. I'm like, why would you keep that? It's quite.
Hey, can I share one of my guilty pleasures? My guilty pleasure is watching those slap competitions where like people slap each other in the face.
I knew Brian was gonna die. You're the opposite.
I love it, man. It is so hilarious. Men doing it, women doing it. It is like seeing the chalk go off like their head.
So you're the audience. I know there's an audience. Okay, there's a huge audience. It's a big sport. Stand there, get your head. Oh, watch my face get kicked in.
Rocky would be awesome at the slap competition. He'd be
I guess
undefeated.
He would.
Now that is something I don't get. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Ooh, we have one from our favorite Italian Australian, Eccentric Views. I collect those Rocky figures and have a bunch of them.
So there's collectible figures from the Rocky franchise that were made.
Wasn't that like on the old pod, or maybe it was this podcast? They were selling toys like recently from the Rocky, like this Trans Am. There was like one of those. And we were like shocked that they were still selling Rocky related stuff all these years.
Yeah,
later.
I bought the Trans Am.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't even realize that they had the figures. Like there was a Rocky, there's a Polly, there's a
Santa Polly. There's a Polly with a Santa outfit.
I collect those Rocky figures and have a bunch of them. I almost bought the Polly figure, which now sells for about $2,000 in Australian dollars. Katie, I also love Over the Top. It's one of my favorites. I want to back you up here. Sly was at his hottest for sure. It's a great father-son story with a fun 80s cheese, some great action, and an awesome soundtrack. It's an underdog story, essentially Rocky, but with arm wrestling. Thank you, Eccentric Views.
I'm just going to take the silence supporting me as the louder voice.
Okay, yes, talk about the silent majority. The silent majority are on your side. That's the whole premise behind the silent majority. Richard Nixon always talked about the silent majority. That like there's all these protests, like Vietnam protests and all this stuff, and he would contend that's the vocal minority. That in fact, the great silent majority is okay with everything he's doing.
And you can't prove that. It's just,
Yeah.
You can't prove a negative. You know what Polly says? I'm the unsilent majority.
Yes, I love Polly. The guy's not that stupid.
Yeah, he has a good brain, terrible liver. All right.
Yeah. He'd probably be a genius, actually, if he didn't drink so much. Because it's like alcohol's not the best for your brain. So it's...
No, I've read that
at the level he drinks, it's...
Oh, is that what's wrong with my brain?
You're fine. You're doing just fine.
I don't think you have poly levels of alcohol consumption, though.
I'm just teasing.
So both of you have actually done this show not sober before.
That is true. Fact. That is true.
This is tea. I do have tea this morning.
I have coffee.
I have
some caffeine. That was
it looks like there's more love for Over the Top.
There is more love.
From Pilsung, like Katie, I love Over the Top too. Definitely one of my favorite Stallone movies. Aside from the Rocky series, it's one of the more family-friendly films I can enjoy with my son. P.S. I love Cobra too. Classic Sly, LOL. I also love Cobra, and it's really bad, but I also love Cobra.
Yes, Cobra is the definition of it's objectively a bad film, but it's fun to watch. So I get this what people do with Over the Top. I've already said my piece about that. I don't enjoy.
There's no you like it if you don't like arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cobra has everything I love: action, Sly thinking he's cool when he's really. It's such a weird. Like, why are you acting so cool? It's almost, hey, I want you to do a caricature of what a cool person would do. He's got to have a toothpick in his mouth. He's got to wear sunglasses inside of a grocery store, and he's got to have a leather jacket and a cool car and a tough man attitude. I work alone. I fight. Okay, all right, you got it. It's all the things that make somebody cool. It's like a cool starter pack outfit and everything.
Starter pack, it is, because he's got the trench coat. Am I remembering it right?
No, does he have a trench coat? I can't remember now.
I know. Now I think I'm misremembering.
And then we have these like demonic bad guys and stuff. It's really
cool. Oh, I forgot about it. It's really strange. It's very strange. But Cobra. Now, Kyle, have you seen Cobra?
I don't think
I want to say 1986.
No.
You're right. I think it was 86. Over Top was after it.
Yeah.
And that was his wife at the time. Bridget Nielsen was in that film, in that model shooting. Yeah, she looked way better in Rocky IV than she does in Cobra.
Yeah, she has like a red wig or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, this last one's big. So bear with us, folks.
This is from the real Hector Canellis, our favorite wrestler. Donald mentioned the action figure, and you guys kept the ball rolling. If there's one thing I know more than wrestling, it's Rocky. And the Rocky action figure toy line by Jakks, Jakks Pacific from 2006. I've been reviewing them for a couple of years now. The story of how the line was developed is fascinating. The man in charge of making WWE action figures kept pitching the idea to executives. In early 2006, he presented mock-up figures at a Japanese toy fair without having the rights to Rocky Balboa or the likeness rights to anyone except Hulk Hogan, aka Thunderlips. After significant interest from retailers, Jakks Pacific secured the Rocky license, which was perfect timing because Rocky Balboa, the movie, was in mid-production. Jakks produced incredible action figures, creating almost every main character, which had never been done before. The story is much longer and a bit sad, as the toy line was cut short and canceled, and the remaining figures were released without any fanfare, except for me, as I collected nearly every piece sold in stores. I'm missing a few, including the Santa Polly. It looked like you could buy it for about $500. The Polly figure wasn't sold in stores, but was given to Jack's Pacific employees as a Christmas gift.
That gives you a clue, though. We didn't know that. That's partly why it's hard to find. It was never sold in stores, according to Hector, which I think he follows this very closely. So that I don't know if that was ever sold in stores, the Santa outfit. That's why it's so expensive.
He said remaining figures were released without any fanfare. He said he's missing a few. Hector is missing the Santa Polly.
Did you say the Polly figure wasn't sold in stores, but was given to
Oh,
Jack?
you're right. You're right. That Polly figure.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
You're right. So, apologies. That Polly figure wasn't sold in stores, but was given to the employees as a Christmas gift.
See, that's crazy.
If you look at the back of the card, it doesn't show other collectible figures or anything like that. Instead, it lists every Jack's Pacific employee. Oh, that's cool.
When we talk about the Polly figure, is this the one you mentioned earlier that goes for like $2,000? There's very few of them made, I guess. That's why they go for so much money. Would I be right there?
It could have been 100 employees. So he's saying that this Christmas, correct me if I'm wrong, Hector, this was given as so the Santa one makes sense, right? It's a Santa figure given to the employees of the Jack's Pacific Toy Company. Here's Polly. It's like a Christmas grab bag. On the Polly one, what was written on the back was the employees, like Katie,
That's
Kyle,
really cool.
Ryan, George, Scott.
Cool.
Then people are like, oh, this is great and all, but I could probably get a couple bucks. So somebody sells theirs and somebody says, oh, they just made $500. I'm going to sell mine. And so now that's how you get them. So if you own this one, it's cool. It's even better story, I think. This was a gift. This was never sold in stores.
Do you ever wonder if the people in like the factory in China making this stuff looks at it and judges us? They're like, why are they buying this shit? This is some weird guy dressed up as Santa. Because they don't know who Polly is probably or any of this.
Why do they have this drunk Santa?
I would argue they're probably wondering that about 99% of the shit we buy. Why are you buying this? He says that figure still on its card is now worth nearly $1,000.
That's US dollars, which makes sense if it was 2,000 Australian. What a give or take.
I think the Australian dollar, it's a bit weaker than the Canadian dollar, but it's like still not 2 to 1.
But this figure goes, let's say, easily anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Only a few were made, and the man who started the toy line lost most of his collection during the Malibu fires earlier this year.
Oh, wow.
Man.
That's horrible.
The only characters not made in this toy line are Mike/Jimmy
/ guy. I love how he says Mike/Jimmy/guy.
You know, you're a real listener if you put that in the
yes, Rocky Jr. at any age. Nico the robot, a different toy company made it recently.
That's
that
true.
Seems like it would be a big one people would want.
Yeah, that one you can get. Yeah.
And Little Marie.
Yeah.
However, other characters produced include Mike Tyson, Roberto Duran, and even the meat.
No, we talked about that. The hanging meat, that they made a toy out of the hanging meat.
I forgot about that. That was a real thing. I didn't believe you.
I'm sure there's lots of toys called the meat.
First, I thought that was a person's nickname, and I'm like,
Boys love playing with the meat.
Who's the
Boys
meat?
they love playing with the. Your sons will be playing with the meat all day.
Oh, wow. He says, here's my review of that action figure.
Okay,
He
so I
has
have
the meat. We have the meat.
We have the meat. I thought for our viewers, and of course, especially for us three here, I thought it'd be fun to see Hector. We're not going to play the whole video. It's 7 minutes long. So check out his YouTube channel, The Real Hector Canales. Check out his channel where he does all these reviews of all these toys. He does great stuff with these reviews. But I want to show you his unpackaging. It's about a minute of the actual meat, the meat toy that you can buy. Here we go.
Oh my God, this is so bad.
That meat go bad?
And here's the meat. We've already looked at the packaging on the previous figures, especially on the Rocky Balboa.
So that's Hector's voice. Hey, Hector, here you go.
I
So
can't
let's
believe
just
they
look at
made
the
this.
front of this packaging. You've got great display of the meat, and he comes with the slaughterhouse jacket that Polly wears. At the bottom, we've got little sticker that says the meat versus Rocky Balboa. That's fantastic. And then on the side, you got a picture of the meat. On the back, you have the prototype picture of the meat, which looks pretty gruesome. Then you've got a bio for the meat, telling us not too much, but enough, and actually making this side of beef a character in the movie. And here is the meat out of the package. From another toy unboxing, I kept this little aluminum holder thing so I could loop it around. Now, I already came with a hook already on it, but this little extra hook that I put on it helps me display it better for you guys to see it. And it's really detailed. It's like horribly detailed real nicely.
It's a good keychain to have on your keys. It's a conversation starter.
I am horrified.
Here, well, let's take a look at the jacket. So it comes with the slaughterhouse jacket.
Oh my god! I'm like literally nauseous. I want to throw up.
Put in a broken rib or two somewhere around here. And here's the jacket that the meat came packed with. It's got all these blood stains on it, which is pretty gruesome. It's got all these other marks on it as well.
Is it yellow? Why are those stains yellow? This is the worst toy ever made.
Okay, I just want to see if Hector does. Oh, there's Paulie. Paulie, he's got Paulie.
He's looking pretty skinny there, actually.
I do like that he put the jacket on.
Hector put the jacket on the Paulie figures. Check it out.
It fits well. Whoever designed
it's
the jacket
actually
had the action figure specs in mind, which I appreciate.
I think he's hanging the meat from some dragon.
It almost like the belt around it reminds me of a gi. And if you're a new karate person, you have like your white belt.
Pretty heavy too, that I had to bring in my Godzilla figure just to hold them up. And adding the jacket to the meat really enticed me into buying the meat, because like I said, I was not gonna buy this piece of meat.
They threw in the jacket. You know what? If we're gonna sell you a piece of meat, we should probably close sold separately. I was hoping you'd have a Rocky figure punching it, but okay. All right, so go check that out, guys. The Real Hector Canales does all the reviews of all the toys from that line. So there you go. That was a real toy.
I always appreciate hearing the voices of our fans.
Yeah,
I got to see Gino and hear his voice, which was cool. And then now I saw Hector. We know what his hand looks like. And now we heard his voice. So it's, I don't know, it makes it seem more real.
They're real people. I promise you. I don't send these emails to
Ryan has made up all these characters. That's my conspiracy theory, that Gino is not really, that's just a paid actor in Australia.
That's right. They're all actors in Australia, aren't they? All right, there you go. So where we last left off, for Kyle and for our listeners, Tommy and his girlfriend are about to leave the residence. George has dropped off all the Christmas gifts, and this is that famous sequence when Rocky goes out to talk to Tommy at the car. Go ahead.
Hurry up and get to this party. I can't wait to show you off.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
All right, guy.
Now, I just love that cutout scene. So there's a couple things that happen really quickly. So they leave the house, and Karen's, I can't wait to show you off. Do you hear that? Like, to her friends. Look at this hot up-and-comer #1 ranked boxer I'm with. So she wants to show him off to her family and friends. And then I love, you got like a drunk George yelling Merry Christmas and jingling bells as the limo drives off the street.
How many say about him? I missed that.
About George in that
Well, he
moment?
said something to Rocky just before you stopped the clip.
Okay, sure. Let's go back 5 seconds. Here.
Merry Christmas!
All right, guy. Hey, Tommy,
Something about look at that guy, or what a guy.
What a guy. Yeah,
What a
I think
guy,
what a
okay.
guy.
What a guy. Even he's embarrassed. Like, yeah, that's a little cringe, as the kids say.
what do you want to talk to me about?
Is the car unlocked?
Yeah. So, what do you think? Hey, Tommy, what do you want to talk to me about?
Isn't it a long drive?
Yeah.
It's a little bit different there. So she says in the work print, is the car unlocked? Tommy says, yeah. And then she asks, now, isn't it a long drive? Then he says, yeah.
Also,
Okay.
even if it was locked, you could unlock it. The top's down.
Yes.
Somebody maybe
Probably.
pointed that out to them, and they're like, "Is it a long drive?" Instead.
Yeah, maybe she's like an airhead, right?
She's a
Clearly.
redhead, for sure.
Yeah.
But
What do you think? Well, where'd you get this from? You gave it to me.
Tommy?
Hey, maybe you want to give this thing back, Tom.
And I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. Give it back? Why? The guy likes the way I fight it.
It's almost 10.
All right, we'll make it.
Yeah, I know. You see what he's doing here, Tommy? Hey, don't let him put nothing between us, okay? We got something good
But
going.
like what? The guy was just talking about getting a shot.
Well, we don't need him, you know what I mean? You're going to get a shot, you're going to be able to buy 10 of these things.
Okay. Tommy gets defensive right away. It's funny. Old Rocky says maybe you should just return the gift. I don't think we need this. And it's all very, like, Rocky, to his credit, is being very sound, very calm. You can feel the tension rising. But we don't need the gifts to get the title shot. Like, we'll get the title shot. You're putting the cart in front of the horse a little bit here. And he even says, though, once we get that title shot the old-fashioned way without being bought, you can buy 10 of these. Rocky lived that way. He knows money will be there. You can get a lot of these cars.
Ryan, I guess, as a fellow parent, you know, the young people don't listen.
Yeah.
They don't listen. If they have something right now, they want that. And if you tell them, hey, slow down, be patient, wait, take your time, that is not how, that's not how they think, man. Like, he's a young dude. He's getting some action from the redhead. Someone's going to give him a nice car. He is not going to be like the patient. Okay, yes, I don't need this. I'm just going to take the bus. No, he's not going to do that. That's why you need a Mickey who will be like, get the hell away from him. You drive that car, I'll chop your face off. Need a strong hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, delayed satisfaction is becoming increasingly more difficult to sell.
Yeah, and it's like young people, like there's no like delayed satisfaction. I was no different at 20 years old.
Right.
So hold up, we got an emergency guest who just popped in. UK Dave. That's UK Dave, by the way.
UK Dave.
Yeah.
Hey.
So Dave, let me know. I think he was supposed to do something. Hopefully I didn't miss the boat. So David had the fight. He had his charity fight.
Ooh.
So he sent me a message saying there is a video, and I don't think he sent it to me. So that'll have to be next episode because he wanted Kyle to break down the fight. He said it wasn't going to be much of a breakdown, apparently.
Fight last night. Did you win? What'd you fight, Dave?
What happened? What happened?
I would love to break down your fight. Send a link, and I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, so I don't know if he has it ready to go now. If we could do it on the fly, but if he can't, it's fine. We can do it next episode. But David fought. The important thing is he did it for charity. Charity hurts sometimes, and
it is nerve-wracking fighting. I haven't fought a ton. I've fought in like a karate tournament, stuff like that, but it's scary.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's a win or lose. Like, I have admiration for anyone.
He lost.
Going back in the ring with him, kid.
Yeah, I think he lost. I think it was a lose.
It happens,
David,
man. It happens.
It does. It happens to Tyson. Tyson lost. Don't worry about it. Oh, he's waiting for the video to come through. So he doesn't have it yet. Okay.
I still get nervous watching Rocky movies before his fights. I know the outcome, and I still get nervous. It's weird.
Yeah. We look forward to David. If you're okay with us watching it, maybe having some fun with it, we'll love to do that. But like Kyle was saying, yes, in all seriousness, good job. You did it for charity, and you did. It took guts to get into the ring. Yeah, it's good job. Okay.
Yeah, not a lot of people are willing to get punched in the face or the body.
Nope. Or the balls. That's
actually, I have seen this one video.
Oh no! Here we go.
Is this an alternate take on the slap fight?
Okay,
we'll talk after the show.
Yeah, okay.
Rock, when you gonna wake up, man? We're watching the parade go by.
What parade? What are you talking about?
The
What
big
parade?
time. Man, the way I'm going, I'm not gonna get a shot at the title for a long time.
This is
Man,
time.
I've got a perfect record. I'm 22-0.
At this rate, Tom, you just said you have had 22 fights in 3 months, and you're number one now. What rate are you talking about? This is the fastest rise of any boxer I'm aware of. Am I crazy here, Kyle? Is this not a fast rise?
3 months or whatever, 22 fights. This is impossible.
He acts like he's 32 or something. Like he's Rocky's age. He's 19, maybe 20.
He has 22 fights, undefeated. You're in the conversation. I think, though, there's more than just a good record that gets you a title shot. And that being said, though, Rocky has the influence where he could probably arrange that. But it seems like in this universe, Duke has the power, right? Duke owns the top fighters, specifically Union Kane, the champion. So from Tommy's perspective, it makes a lot of sense cozying up to Duke to get that title shot.
Yeah, he's been duped by the Duke, but it's understandable. Like, it's not crazy.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I remember, for example, at 23 years old, finishing college and thinking I was really behind because I started a few years late. I'm like, I'm already 23.
Yeah.
And now I look back at that and, oh my God, you're so young at 23. But I think it is common to have that feeling like things are going by too fast, or you have this timeline in your head when you expect things to happen and it's not. And so I think Tommy's a super normal person here. I actually think the way it was written here is like totally believable.
Rocky isn't really offering anything specific. He is not sharing with Tommy, here's my plan. He's just being vague.
And I also am annoyed by the girlfriend, Karen, or whatever her name is.
Karen, yeah.
Yeah, being, come on, let's go. It almost reminds me of a child.
Yeah.
When a child's bored and they want to leave. And
she's a spoiled brat, and she's a paid mistress. Yeah.
Yeah, and she doesn't like Rocky. She's probably told not to like Rocky because Rocky's the enemy.
Not just that, she was probably told to get Tommy out of there quick.
Sure. Rocky feels rushed, so you're probably not going to hash out the specifics here. But to Katie's point, I think that Rocky could have at least said, hey, you know what? Let's sit down. I know you're leaving for this party now, but let's sit down, obviously, between Christmas and New Year's. Let's map out a path of getting a title shot. Instead of being like, it'll come eventually, you'll be able to do this. Some vague thing like that. I agree.
But even up until this point, clearly Tommy has probably been saying, like, because he keeps saying, when am I going to get a title shot? Am I going to get one now? And Rocky's like, sure, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. One of these days we'll go to Disneyland. When are we going? When are we going to Disneyland?
Louis brings up a good point here. Louis says, he says here, Tommy is done with slumming it. He's clearly already a top contender, and it isn't a situation where he's getting now what's this word, a Pyrrhic victory? Do I know?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a big word
here.
Yeah, I'm like Rocky. I dropped out of 9th grade there.
Pyrrhic.
Pyrrhic sounds like a proper word. I don't know if it was a misspell or if it's some sort of like.
We're just ham and eggers over here.
So he goes on to say that will harm him later. So Rocky doesn't intend to, but he's essentially living vicariously through Tommy taking on the role of Mickey. So I agree. That's the problem with Rocky that he fixes later when he trains Adonis, is that he hasn't found himself yet as a trainer. So he's relying too much on Mickey when he's Rocky. If he allowed to be more Rocky and use Mickey-isms, but trust himself as a trainer, I think he could have been a better trainer at this point, but he just wasn't ready yet. He even said, he admitted, I'm not a trainer. No, that was the other guy. I'm just the trained guy. So even he recognizes his own inability. He gets there later, but Tommy goes into the next, right away. Where's the money? Where he's focused on the bling. He gets a taste of it because he's got the girl, he's got the car. What does Tommy want? More girls, more cars.
Where's the money? Where? Man, we haven't made any serious money yet, and we won't without the man.
I ain't talking about the money. Look, the money is gonna be there, but I'm talking about your rep, Tommy. Don't sell out, we don't need this guy.
Listen, Duke is a wonderful man. Put the top on.
Hey, forget about the top, would you? I'm signing papers with the man tomorrow.
Oh, listen to me, Tommy. You sign them papers, you're like his property, so you got no control. This is a dirty business.
This is Sly telling the audience what he feels the boxing business is in 1990, is my understanding.
Additionally, this is probably just like a device for this scene, but this is Philly in December. The top would not be down.
I feel like he wanted to keep it up just because she told him not to.
Yeah.
So Louise tells us a Pyrrhic victory, that's Pyrrhic victory, equals essentially winning a battle to lose the war. So back to his original comment, he says he's clearly already a top contender, and it isn't a situation where he's getting a Pyrrhic victory that will harm him later. Boy, Louise. Wow. Look at you with big words and everything. Okay. Now, so again, this is Sly's statement about the boxing industry at this time.
Especially since Duke is based after Don King, who is a notorious, well-known scumbag. So clearly this is Stallone's way of saying the boxing world's corrupt. And I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Anything that's a big business has corrupt people. Like anything with a lot of money is going to attract a certain kind of person. Wall Street, big corporations. Like, for instance, CEOs have a way higher rate of sociopathy than other professions. And that's because people who are sociopaths, they're psychopaths, make it to the top. They're willing to do whatever they need to do to make it to the top, or normal people are less likely to be that way. Boxing is no different.
That probably explains my lack of success in life.
Same. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Bullshit, guys. You guys are successful.
I can tell that I'm not a sociopath because I have no desire to keep climbing that ladder. I'm like, I'm good.
That's right. Money's a means to an end, not an end to it of itself.
Maybe I noticed this before, maybe not. I can't recall, so I'm going to say this is the first time I noticed this. Did you see the license plate?
I was going to comment on that. I don't remember noticing that in the past.
If you were to ask me 10 minutes ago, what is the license plate that the car has, I wouldn't be able to answer.
No, same here. Like
Katie, would you have been able to answer that question?
I wouldn't know. I would have been able to guess a multiple choice, but I wouldn't pull it out of thin air.
No, so let's say for the record, none of us knew the answers. For our listeners, the license plate that Tommy's driving is T Gunn.
Is it like T dot gun?
It looks like there is a period there, which I don't think you're allowed to have. And I'll let you know.
I don't think so. I've never seen a dot like that.
Hey, the Duke, man. The Duke can erase medical records. He can.
Guy gets shit on, man. He goes to
It's just a white sticker that they put on.
Yeah, it's probably.
I don't think this is a real license plate.
Yeah.
I think it is a movie prop slapped on the back of a car. I would challenge any of our listeners, and please comment or email us. And we didn't get any emails because people are following Kyle's advice by saying it's too hard to email us. But
it is very difficult.
Stop listening to Kyle and send us an email. Let us know if you truly knew that the license plate said T-Gun before we commented on it. Could you have answered truthfully? That's what you would have told us. I've never noticed till pause it in this moment.
Yeah.
It's full of the thieves and gangsters, and they promise every good young fighter who comes along, they promise them the world, and they suck them dry, and they leave them when they ain't worth nothing, they leave them in the gutter broke, Tommy. That's the way this business is run. Look, the guy's like Duke. You know what he is? He's a vampire. He's living off your blood, Tommy.
I know it's not the greatest acting on both people's parts. We've mentioned this already. Sly's doing pretty good. He's fine. He's fine right here. But I will say as well, Tommy Morrison's doing a good job showing at least the audience that he's listening to Rocky. There's a part of him that's still hearing Rocky's plea. Like he recognizes that Rocky's plea here is genuine, and Tom at the very least has to believe that Rocky believes it. If Rocky believes this is true and he is a seasoned champion, why would he be telling me this stuff? Is it because he wants my money, or does he really care about me? So there's a part of him that, he's recognizing, I think Rocky cares about me. He's truly conflicted. Oh man, do I dump all this and go back to this guy? I actually appreciate that little subtle look that Tommy has. Is you can see that some of this is hitting the mark.
Or the fact that the car is moving, but not very fast. And he hasn't quite stopped listening to him, but he isn't speeding away yet. Emotionally, he wants that money. He wants the girls. He wants all this stuff. And I think when you really have an emotion like that, where you want that, you'll rationalize your way to get it. And Rocky's interfering with that rationalization, which is causing conflict in Tommy's mind. And then he'll have to make a decision, right? To speed away or to stop.
But right now, there's a moment where Rocky's connecting, Tommy's listening, and it's interesting to see how the fight falls apart, or the pleading falls apart and turns into more of anger.
The thing I'm trying to do is what Mick done to me. He tried to keep me away from the dirty part of the business. The way I'm trying to do for you.
Man, I ain't you, and you ain't Mick. Man, when are you gonna understand that? When are you gonna understand this is a business? And a business you need...
What, brains?
You said that, not
me. Is that what you're saying? You're saying I got no brains?
Look, Rocky, you took me as far as you could, but Duke gave me my title shot. You didn't.
Was Tom going to say the word brains, or was he going to maybe say something to the effect of business savviness, maybe? Or what would have Tommy said had Rocky not assumed right away? Because Rocky steps on it before he even gets it out. Brains? You saying I don't have brains? There's a slight hesitation. I think Tommy was going to maybe say, you don't know the side of the business, Rocky, or something to that degree.
I don't think Tommy knew what he was going to say. That's the vibe I got from that. I don't think he had brains in his head and was hesitating to say something else. It's not the vibe I got. And I could be wrong. It's just my interpretation. But
no, I think it's just as easy as that. Yeah, because there's no indication we know what he was going to actually say.
Like you could say business acumen, something. Which I don't think is a word Tommy would use. But
yeah, Tommy was going to insinuate that Rocky is not up to the task, which she does say later. He's not wrong. This is a business. They're both right. Tommy's right. This is a business, and Duke is getting me, what I need. You're also right, Rocky, that you were shielded from this side, this ugly side of it by Mickey. But you know what? You're not Mickey and I'm not you. They're both very right.
You know what I would have said in this moment if I was like really pissed off and wanted to hurt his feelings? Because Rocky was like, they'll leave you in the gutter broke. And they'll be like, Mickey must have not done you that much good because look where you are despite him helping you.
Good
you're in the
point.
gutter broke.
Oh boy.
Oh, you didn't have very good business sense, did you? You lost all your money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would I trust you to run my business when you got
good point.
I think you guys nailed it. That's what he was thinking. You're back where you started because he says here, you took me as far as you can go. Boxing wise, great. I am the best boxer I ever could have been thanks to the training of an ex-champion who beat Drago and Apollo. Awesome. However, on the business side of things, you're living in the slums and I don't want to live here.
He's saying if you want to keep trading me, then do it. If you don't, honestly, like I think Duke's a prick. I can understand why Rocky does not want anything to do with him.
Of course.
But it's like, yeah, Stallone is a trainer. He's not a manager. And I don't think he's really keeping him away from that much. Like, by keeping him away, what he's really doing is just totally isolating him from everything, but then not actually fulfilling that role himself. And to be fair, neither did Mick.
Right.
Other than giving him hand-picked matches at Rocky up to in the beginning of Rocky 3. It's the only managerial move we've ever seen Mick do, because the first two fights against Apollo were all Apollo. Mickey had nothing to do with setting those up whatsoever. And in fact opposed it just because he thought Rocky was unhealthy. So I don't know. Like, I don't think he learned much from Mickey in terms of managing either. Like, he says this dialogue about Mick keeping him away from all this stuff, but you don't see that at all.
Yeah, and we don't really see who his manager. We assume there was one in Rocky 4, like a manager of sorts.
He managed himself.
Just like I think he's self-managed.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It would make sense if you had someone like Duke take the role of manager. I think Duke knows that boxing business. He's respected in that. He has a good head on his shoulders. I still don't know if Duke could get him the title shot, but you just need someone else. If you're not going to put Duke as in Tony Duke.
Yeah.
Like, you need someone else. If you're going to say stay away from George Washington, Duke, great. But unless you're willing to actually step up and be a manager, I could see why Tommy's doing this.
I think one of the things that kind of irks me about Rocky movies is that manager and trainer are one and the same, and they are two different roles.
Yeah, totally.
You have to take each scenario and answer the question, who is managing who? So Rocky 4, Rocky was managing himself. It's unclear if you look at it as a whole, like what each one does, but just in Rocky 4, he managed himself. In Rockies 2 and 3, he was managed, or Rockies 1 through 3, he was managed and trained by Mickey. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In this film, Tommy's trained by Rocky, managed really by nobody, because that's where Duke steps in. He says, if there's no paperwork on this guy, he's not your manager. You're not in business with Balboa Productions. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay. So now Rocky will continue his plea.
But if you want to keep training me, then do it. But if you don't. But it's my way.
Do you think he's going to make a full stop at that stop sign up there?
Yeah, it looks like there's a brick wall there. Does he smash through that wall? I can't remember. Let's watch here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, he ran stop sign.
The law.
He broke the law.
Where's the cop? Where's the cop that said he'd give Rocky a speeding ticket for running? Where's that cop?
That was a complete 180, purposefully probably in the script, that it's my way or the highway. And all of 3 months ago, I'll do anything. I'll do anything you say.
Yeah. Lots changed in 3 months. He's got Karen. He's got a personalized license plate with a nice
He's kid.
sedan.
It's like when kids want a dog. Yeah, I'll pick up the dog's poop. I'll take him for walks. I'll do all of this stuff. So 3 months later, I'm not doing any of this.
Louise is saying, very accurate, Kyle and Katie. How could Tommy legitimately trust the business aspect of this relationship when Rocky has the same people around and the same behavior he had when he lost his fortune? Yeah, I agree. And Louise thinks that Stallone during that car sequence played it hilariously desperate. I would say it wasn't bad, Louise. However, I will say that the scene with him and Adrian coming up when he's frustrated and angry and he throws his jacket on the ground in frustration, I think that's one of the worst acting, ironically, in this film by Sly. It's hard to pinpoint why. It's just a flavor that I have when I watch it. Tell me if you can see what I'm talking about. When he tells Adrian, I see where we are, Adrian, he slams his jacket on the ground. Something about Sly's delivery of that It's
Oh,
cringe.
interesting.
There's something weirdly. That's the hilarious desperate. That's a great way of putting it, Louise. So I'm stealing that from Louise about the previous scene, but I'm using it even further on that scene. Hilariously
It's interesting.
desperate is a good way to put it.
I agree, Louise. This scene in particular, I like the desperation that comes through, but
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
But the intonation of like his, again, it's like he's overdoing the Rocky accent.
Yeah, it's worse coming up. That's what I'm trying to get at. I think it's even
Okay.
worse. I think it's even worse in the car scene. Okay. Yeah. So now, of course, the car screeches away, and I guess the stress of the moment combined with the squealing tires is now showcasing head trauma. We're seeing as an audience that's affecting his brain injury. If that little moment there causes this reaction here, boy, he sure was able to handle that fist fight later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd assume bare knuckle fists hitting you in the face and head with lights and people cheering around you didn't cause any of the.
There are a few moments within that scene where he sees stuff.
I guess so. I guess sure. Because he seems very debilitated here is all. But
yeah, who knows? So I was just thinking maybe the fight, like if you have enough adrenaline kick in for that fight.
Yeah, it's true too. Adrenaline. Yeah, it's a different drug going through.
I ain't a doctor.
But I think it's just being triggered here.
It is being triggered. Yeah. It's just to remind the audience, hey, remember why he's not in the ring? Because of this.
Good point, Ryan.
However, I poke a little bit of fun. It's a very effective though, as like it's effective with the sound effect, the image of Drago, the lighting. It does give you the feeling of pain visually that Rocky's feeling in that moment. So it is effective displaying that.
Rocky, put on your coat. Just put on your coat. Come on, it's not worth it.
Adrian is worth it. He's just confused.
You don't see what's happening under
Yeah, I do see. What you twist around my duke.
No, it's you, it's not him. You can't live backwards. Come on, you can't turn back the clocks. We live now. We live here.
Hey, Adrian, I know where we live. What do you think? I'm stupid? I'm not as dumb as you think I am.
Okay, this is a great little kind of underlining character arc that's investigated throughout the films. Remember Rocky 2 with the commercials? Oh, I'm not punch you, I just talk this way. So it's actually a nice little byline that exists in some of the films where the character, he recognizes that he sounds punchy and he comes off a little bit slow or he says things a little bit differently, but he's self-aware enough that he thinks, not necessarily accurately, but he thinks that other people thinks that he's not bright, that he's not the brightest. And even though he's not necessarily, but he actually is self-aware enough to recognize he might not be the smartest guy in the room. But now I feel bad that he thinks Adrian has ever felt that way.
He's still stung.
It's his insecurity, right? He always thinks he's dumb. Like from the first film, I'm dumb, you're shy.
Yeah.
And I think he feels hurt by what just happened with Tommy there. Feels rejected. Like you have, I guess what they call now rejection sensitivity. Like you're feeling rejected there. You feel down on yourself, and now you live in this neighborhood. And then Adrian's trying to help you, but she's saying, "Hey, you don't get it. It's not like this." When you've just been rejected, you're going to feel like that's not her trying to help you. That's her criticizing you some more. Okay, and it's like you're going to lash out and say, "Hey, I'm not stupid. You think I'm not as dumb as you think I am. Like I actually do get this."
Thank you, Adrian, Dr. Peterson. Love it.
I hope it didn't sound like I was criticizing. I was actually just showing that it shows that he's still, that he's still. And nobody in Adrian doesn't think he's dumb. She already just said that. Of course, she doesn't think that, and we don't think she's ever thought that, of course. But I love here he goes, "Don't you think I can smell it?" Like the idea, this place stinks. Remember this? Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
Donald got it. This place stinks. We're right back there again. Yeah. He should have brought back this place.
Good point.
These East Coast cities, I think it's because they're older than out West. These East Coast cities, they don't have like back alleyways for garbage. So if you go to New York or Boston or Philly, these big East Coast cities, all the garbage is left out on the front street. And I don't know what it's like now, but when I was in New York in the summer, it stunk. Like
there's nowhere else to put it. It has to get picked up on trash.
It has to be up there. Like it's not designed like it's dense like that. And it's funny because I'm trying to think. In London, was it like that? I feel like in London it wasn't like that. Like I think they do a better job. Like with
of course they do. Yeah, I do think there's alleys in Philly because The only reason I think that, I've never been there, is because Polly says, go out in the alley and eat the bird.
You have an alley between buildings, but like a back alley,
for
right?
trash
Like,
pickup, yeah.
yeah, in like on the street here, there's just garbage on the street waiting to be picked up, right? And that's got to stink. And in reality, it's summer, even though it's not here.
Good
It's
point,
Christmas time,
yeah.
but in actuality, it probably does for real smell there.
You know, I can smell it. I see what we are. I don't want this no more. I want something good for the family. I don't want this. I don't want this.
So I get it. He's angry. He's upset. It's all very understandable as a father, provider, husband, ex-champion, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't want to be back here. I remember when I was on that bed and said I want to be another bump in the neighborhood. This is really shitey situation. Like this, that whole speech goes down the drain a little bit. It doesn't hit the mark anymore because he's back to being he's not a bum, but he's in the neighborhood again. He's back in the neighborhood.
Did I come back here and get my brain?
All right.
Did I come back here and get my brains beat up by these guys and say, hey, there goes Balboa. I'm just another bump in the neighborhood. I didn't want this.
No, come on. Nobody says that.
I'm saying it, Adrian. I'm saying this. I'm saying this.
Bum.
Oh, yeah,
like he literally does say, I'm just another bum from the neighborhood.
This is a good husband-wife fight, and I don't mean that like my wife and I fight, but there have been times where, 15 years of marriage, of course, where I've said something to the effect of my wife will say, I'll say something about myself, and she'll say, and rightfully, she'll say, I didn't say that. And I've actually said, I'm saying it. Like, you didn't say this, but that doesn't mean I'm not feeling it. You don't have to say the words, and that's exactly what Rocky's saying. He's like, I didn't say that. Rocky's like, I'm saying it. This is what I'm feeling. So I totally on Rocky's side.
I'm just another bum from the neighborhood. She's saying no one's saying that. It's not just that she's not saying what no one else is. And I think what Rocky's saying is it's not the fact that I have a reputation. It's that I feel like I'm another bum from the neighborhood. I heard Rocky Balboa when Mason Dixon got back with his trainer briefly and they were talking.
Yeah.
And the trainer's the only respect that really matters is self-respect. And Rocky has lost his self-respect here. His mind, in the way he sees it, he is another bum from the neighborhood. He's a failure. And Adrian trying to reassure him that other people don't think that is not the issue.
Yeah, because it's still what he feels, he says. I feel that, Rocky.
There goes Balboa. I'm just another bump in the neighborhood. I didn't want this.
No, come on. Nobody says that.
I'm saying it, Adrian. I'm saying this. I'm saying this. When that kid was in the ring, you know what I was doing? I was winning. When he was winning, I was winning.
You were winning?
Yeah, it was. It was my last chance at getting some respect for us. Do you know that?
I respect
It's gone.
you.
It's gone.
I respect
You can't respect.
Oh, this is the part. Oh, it's this part here. When he says the way you can respect me, I respect myself. Sly does an okay job. It's just, again, I think there's a little bit of ad lib here as part of the problem.
I like this dialogue, though. This is very well written. I think this is like a really good understanding of the human condition and how someone in Rocky's spot here would be feeling.
Yeah.
And I get what you mean, though. I think that the way it's acted is not optimal.
Yeah,
sure.
I totally oversold the bad acting in the wrong spot, because now that I'm watching all the way through, because I didn't pre-watch this, even though I edited this together a few weeks ago. This is the part after many years of watching it, just the way Sly goes, just that little part there. Again, tell me if I'm off my rocker.
You know what? Other than the fact that they had a fight like this in Rocky 3. This is not Rocky to me. Yelling like this. Like
that's probably what it might be too, Kyle. Is that it feels a little off character.
Because the Rocky I know and like from the earlier films, and also the Rocky and Rocky Balboa, he'll be like somber, and then he'll say something and then walk away. You know how this didn't bother me? It did. Or it's something like that. So if there was a scene where like they were sitting on the step after this fight and talking about it. And he's I'm just another bum from the neighborhood. And she's no one's saying that. I'm saying that.
That could have been.
And then he walks away. You know what I mean? If it was like that, to me, that's the Rocky.
I don't know, because he was this way in Rocky 1 with Mickey. Like when he's pushed to his limit and he's so effing angry and he just can't contain this emotion.
You know what? I think you're right. I think that's true. There's
Took the words out of my way. I was just going to use that example. Of the,
I'm sorry.
No,
it's
Rocky.
great. Because there's 2 instances now. There's Rocky 1
and
Rocky 3.
Stairs.
Now, Rocky 2.
You got it.
Rocky 2, he's more chill. Rocky 4, he's more chill. So it could go either way for him. Him yelling is not out of character. Yeah, you're right.
But generally speaking, though, yes, he's a lot more calmer, subdued, and stoic than. But when things boil over, like talk dirty to my wife, come to my house and try to pick up some glory days from my good fortune after 10 years of being ignored. So things will boil to the surface. So it takes a while to get there, but boy, he does. But he gets over it quick after he's done.
Good point.
He gets it out. Adrian lets him get it out, but she does push back. But she's about to do the best, I believe, and I've said this before, I believe this Talia Shire Adrian scene is better than, it's better than the beach scene. It's better than the Rocky win moment. Because to me, she's fighting for her family, not just trying to. I love the win moment in Rocky 2. I get it. But now she's saying win for our family. To me, this is the most emotional scene because now Adrian's not fighting for Rocky to get the championship, to win a fight, to be there for the fight in the ring. She's now sort of saying, Rocky, I need you to fight for your family. So I think this is the best monologue coming up from Adrian.
You were winning?
Yeah, it was my last chance at getting some respect for us. Do you know that?
I respect
it's gone,
you.
it's gone.
I respect
You can't respect me.
Yes,
I respect
don't
myself.
respect
No, you
you.
can't do it.
I
I'm telling you that.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it. I found it. That's the part. I knew once I saw the moment that Rocky or Sly does this. No,
that's justified. That is justified.
Thank you.
That
I
suck.
knew it was somewhere. I was like, this is driving me crazy. I sound like a moron. Well, more than I was like, I know there's a moment in this sequence.
I respect you, Ryan. I respect you.
No, you don't respect me.
No, you don't.
Okay, let's just go back just so you can see that in full sequence again. Now you know what the scene. I knew there was a moment where he acts really weird about. Here we go.
You know that?
I respect
it's gone,
you.
it's gone.
I respect
You can't respect me.
Yes,
I respect
don't
myself. No, you
respect
can't do it.
I
I'm telling you that.
All those beatings you took in the ring.
Here we go.
I
Here we
took them with you. I know how you feel. I know when somebody like Tommy comes along, you feel alive. But he's not you. He doesn't have your heart. All those fighters, you beat him with heart, not muscle. That's what Mickey knew. That's why you and Mickey were special. But Mickey's dead. If there's something you want to pass it on to your son. For God's sakes, your son is lost. He needs you. I know Tommy makes you feel great. He makes you feel like you're winning again. But you're losing us. You're losing your family.
Losing you? You know, I don't want you to have the best.
I am the best.
Losing you? I'm sorry. It was always you and me. It was always you and me.
Okay, so the workers' print added something that I wish they kept in the original. Number one, is not this the best scene? Like,
I'm
honestly.
teary-eyed.
Yeah, Adrian, or Talia gives a really good performance.
Yes, it's an Oscar-worthy performance.
Yeah, like I get the tingles, hearing that.
Like my eyes are watery.
I know. I saw you, Kate. It's beautiful. I love it. Okay, so now you're going to hear the audio listeners, of course. You're going to hear the quality sound change. That's because that's the workers' print. Now, it does tie into the very end. But Rocky said, I was going to lose you. He's now just broken out of his fog. This is the moment he breaks out the fog. He finally understands, this whole time I've been losing my family. He's dumbfounded. But that's it. No more. He's not going to do this anymore. But it took this moment. He's actually legitimately, I'm losing my family. Anyways, and then he says, it's not clear what he says, but Adrian says, I have the best.
He says, I want you to have the best.
Oh, then she says, I have. Isn't that a beautiful moment?
Yeah.
That was taken out. Why was that taken out?
I don't know.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I think as from a guy's perspective, we provide a safe home for you. We provide you with things that you want, especially his generation. But I think men in general are like this. And so it's do. If you're not providing, you feel like a failure. And she's, you know what? There's more to providing than just money.
It helps.
It helps, but also, you know what? They're not homeless.
No, they're not.
They're living in like a normal house.
Yeah.
It probably feels like shit compared to the house they just lived in, granted, but
sure.
He makes you feel like you're winning again. But you're losing us.
You're losing your family.
Losing you. You know, I don't want you to have the best.
I'm the best.
That moment there when she's the way Talia acts that part, I have her voice cracks cracks and it looks real. And I don't know why they cut that out. Why would they take that away from her and us as a viewer?
When he says it's always been you and me, it makes that even more meaningful. So they should have kept it.
Yeah, odd choice by director John Avildsen or Rocky or Sludgies.
There's something about Always Been You and Me that bugged me for some reason.
Okay. I
don't know why, because it's actually not bad, but it's almost like he's still not thinking of his son. It's always been like it's. I wish he would have said something along the lines of "Our family is important to me, not just you and me." But I get it from the same thing. It's like their history extends farther than that too, right?
Yeah.
And that I don't know. This is me being picky and weird.
No, that's fair. You're picking weird. I actually my worst part of the scene.
I heard it too because you're losing your son, and then Rocky's focused on his relationship. But it really is always with Rocky. It's Rocky and Adrian.
Your family. Yeah, she does tie it off with you're losing your family.
Yeah. But in previous times, she's said you're losing your son. I don't know. At any rate, I'm not married, but I would imagine like that the partner relationship is more important because the kids are going to leave. It's always you and me. The kids are going to leave.
At the end of the day, yeah. That's how I feel too. Is I chose my wife, and even though I chose to have kids, they can choose to I'm done with you, Dad, or whatever. Different relationship where
they go live their life.
Like I love my partner, and I have no plans on leaving her. If our relationship went down a certain path, if there was some weird hypothetical situation where you had to pick between your partner and your kids come first.
I see that point of view. I guess I was just meaning it's very in keeping with Rocky's love for Adrian and that they're so rock solid that it's never even a question that he would have to choose.
Yeah, and it's a false choice. There is no you don't have to choose between them in reality. It's like they're both there. You're a unit. You're a family.
But it also tracks that he's always had kind of a complicated relationship with his son. But Adrian, it's so clear and simple with Adrian.
He clearly loves Adrian more than his son.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess it's a different kind of love. I mean, I have adult children and we have an amazing relationship. These are the kids from the divorce. So we have the best friendship. We're like friends. And I mean that with the powerful part of a friendship. Like we're more than sometimes I forget they're my sons. We're just so close. We're just like guys. And it is really neat. And my other 4 kids at home. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is regarding it, but at the end of the day, like I'm glad that scenario will never come up where I have to choose a relationship with Becky and my 4 other kids. It'd be horrible to have to make that choose a side, Dad. What are you guys doing to me? But yeah, so no, love everybody. That's all I can say. Love everybody as best you can. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Okay, so remember, Katie won't be here for 2 more episodes. So please don't stop listening. We might still have good things to say. And we're going to get some guests, co-hosts to fill in. Nobody can replace Katie. They're just there to help. So Kyle and I can bounce off ideas of other voices.
And Kyle has homework. You have homework.
What's my homework?
Remember?
Over the top.
Report back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Katie, I just want to tell you, I think going to Central America to drug mule is bad judgment. I think you should reconsider. But whatever you do, be careful.
There was a woman who was just caught at the border with. Did you hear about that one?
No. Did she have a bunch of stuff in her prison purse?
I'll say it wasn't in her purse and it wasn't in her mouth. All right.
I said prison purse.
I missed the prison. Oh, I've never heard that term. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. All right. So with that, this episode is over.
I didn't hear no bell.
I just want to